Run, party, repeat. Welcome to the East Coast Adventures Dirt and Vert Podcast, where we talk all things running, racing, and training to help you get ready for your next big adventure.
Learn from our successes and our failures, and have fun at the same time. Join us right here every week with inspiring guests who share their captivating tales from the trails. And remember, nobody cares.
Run faster.
All right, welcome back to the Dirt and Vert Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Matt.
And we have a guest with us that not only, if you haven't recognized her face, you'll probably recognize her as she starts talking about some of her races. If you've ran much around the East Coast, we have Miss Becca Joyner with us. And Becca has a long list of races through, and I should say, not even a long list of ultras. She also has a long list of marathons. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into that here shortly too. But Becca ran 129 miles, breaking the course record. And, you know, she's already agreed to be on the podcast. I think she ran 20 miles today before she started the podcast. But
that'd be nice.
But Becca, if you don't care, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into running.
Yeah. So, for people that know me, know that I have 3 boys. So we have got almost all teenagers now, like 12, 14, and 17. I work 2 jobs just for fun, and run and coach cross-country middle school in the spring. So that's kind of the normal 9 to 5 around our house.
That's way more than 9 to 5 already.
It's a lot. But, you know, I would say, like, my house isn't great either. You know, like, we do a lot of things, but my house isn't spotless. And there's a lot of things that could be happening around here that don't. So I got into running when my day job did a walk challenge. So like a step challenge, you know, to get people active and do that kind of stuff. They offered a $100 gift card to the winner. And I'm like, well, I feel like I could do that, right? Start walking. This was probably in 2015. So start walking, figured out pretty quickly that if I jogged, I could get even more steps than the guy behind me. So started jogging and ran my first 4 miles ever then, and thought I was the most amazing runner in the history of my family, which actually might be true at 4 miles. Did not come from a family of athletes, let's just say. But I still remember like that feeling of doing the first 4 miles and just being like, that was incredible. Like, I can't believe I can do that, and getting that first like runner's high and that feeling of accomplishment of like, you've no idea, right? So I was like, well, I'm going to try a half marathon, right? Like, it's going to be crazy. We're going to try half. They had a wonderful half marathon in Grand Rapids that was for women only. And it was super friendly, super beginner friendly. And so I signed up for that and got ready early because I was really freaked out about it, that I wasn't going to be ready in time and all the things. So ended up doing the Groundhog half marathon in Grand Rapids. And anybody kind of from around the Midwest knows that it's pretty much the only half marathon happening in February in the Midwest. Like, races just shut down here. You can't find anything. And so I didn't really know what I was getting into, but like, the course isn't plowed. It's 3 feet of snow. I think it took me 3 hours to do the half marathon. Wow. My ankles are breaking. I took my my phone out because I had the playlist, right? Like, your first half marathon, you've got your power playlist, you're ready to go. And my phone died the minute I took it out because it was like 3 degrees. So the battery just went to nothing. And like, I finished and my abs hurt from like all the like trying to balance yourself in the snow. It was so awful, but I did it, right? Like we all do, like we all get through that first race, and was like, holy cow, like that was amazing. And I got a medal and I was super happy. And that's kind of what started it is, you know, like I am very extrinsic. What is the word? Motivated by things outside myself. There's a word for it, right? I am motivated by medals, and I'm motivated by jackets and buckles. And like, if you give me something shiny, I will do really dumb things. So that kind of started it. And then we have a local 25K here, which is like our city's big race. And so my husband and I did that because my husband was a runner. I was never a runner. I hated it. I thought it was really dumb. And somewhere on the course, there's a sign that says you only have to add 4 miles to your long run to run a marathon. And so we get done with that. I'm like, well, crap. Okay. I can do 4 more miles for a long run. Then we do the marathon. Then I learned about the Boston Marathon jacket. And I'm like, well, I have to have that. So, it just escalates, right? And so, yeah, I trained for that. And I remember being embarrassed to even tell my boss that I was training for it because it was such a ludicrous idea that I would ever run the Boston Marathon. But I had to tell him, and he was the only person I told, because the training plan I was doing had a 10-mile run on a Wednesday. And I was like, who does that? Like, who could possibly ever fit in a 10-mile run on a Wednesday? Like, it's ridiculous. So I told him, and I remember when I told him, he never doubted it at all that I was going to qualify and I was going to get there. And he was like, yeah, you take whatever time you need. That's awesome. I'm super proud of you. I was like, okay, please don't tell anybody, right? Because there's no way I'm qualifying for Boston. But I worked my butt off, honestly, for the jacket. Got there and then realized I could never go back because it's so hard to start again. I'm like, if I ever stop running, I don't trust myself that I'm going to start again. Right. Because I remember how hard those first 3 miles were and how great it felt the first 4. So that's kind of what got me down the road to ultras then was like, okay, well, I can't go back from marathons. So what's next? I found the Huff 50K because they gave you a buckle for a 50K. And I was like, perfect. Sign me up for that. Right? So I'll never do 100. So let's get a buckle because that's really cool. And the Huff is in the winter again in Illinois. So went and did that one. Again, there's just ice all over the course. You've got ice dreads by the time you're done. It was miserable. I don't even think I knew to change out of my clothes before we drove home for 4 hours after that. And just couldn't walk when I got home. But again, that started me down the road of who else gives buckles, right? What other short distance can I do and still get a buckle? So that got me to Eagle Up Ultra in Ohio, which is in June. And it's a wonderful 5-mile looped course, super beginner friendly. I had a friend doing it who had done ultras before, and he was like, I'll go do it with you. I'll pace, I'll help you, guide you through this. I'll mentor you through this. And he did, and it went really well. And I was like, oh, I could maybe do this, right? I'm not fast enough to ever win a 5K or a marathon, but maybe if I can outlast people, that's my thing, right? I just have to keep going. So it was really, that Eagle Up Ultra was 100K that I just had a blast at. It was just such a fun community, and the whole day was just fun, right? It never got hard. You just met, because of the looped course, you met people, you got to know all the aid station volunteers. So you said hi every time you came through, it's just such a different vibe from anything else. And I'm sure, everybody says that on your show, right? It's just a different community. It's a different environment. But yeah, I think that's the start of the running story, right? So anything that would give me a buckle or a jacket, I would do. And then
I'm quite impressed that there's a 50K that gives a buckle.
Yeah,
right?
That's pretty good.
I never even knew that. The Huff, I see it on here.
Mm-hmm.
That Indiana.
Yeah. Yep.
Was
So
it
it's
a hard course?
And the course isn't that hard. It's like a normal kind of Indiana trail, right? So it's not like an Appalachian trail, but it's the weather, because it's sleet or snow or God knows what is happening. So that's what makes the Huff tricky.
Oh, yeah, the pictures look awful. Yeah.
See?
The buckle looks
Very
cool,
That's a
though.
nice buckle, though.
The
Yeah.
buckle is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do a
Well,
nice
there you go,
job.
guys. If you need a 50K buckle, Becca just opened that door.
Right. See? No shame.
I love, too, that she does her first 100K and wins.
Yeah, she left that out when she was talking.
Yeah,
about
she
it.
left that completely out.
It was a good day.
Okay.
It was fun.
So what was your first marathon?
First marathon was the Grand Rapids Marathon.
Okay. And then how long was it before you went to Boston from that point?
Then I did Bayshore, which is up north in Michigan, and then it was Boston. So
okay. So you nailed it your first try.
I did by 30 seconds, right? Like it was touch and go for a while, and I hated the whole thing. Like, I don't really enjoy racing. It stresses me out and it's not fun. And even after I did that, I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. Right. Like it just sucked the fun out of it for me. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm super, happy with the result. But yeah, like that 30 seconds. And then, like when you qualify for Boston, you never know what the actual cutoff is going to be. So it's just, that's a lot of stress. I'm glad I don't have to do that ever again.
Yeah. Marathons hurt. I mean, if you race them, they hurt. They're hard.
Anything hurts if you race it, man.
That's true. That's true. That is true. All relative to effort.
Yep.
So did you get your jacket?
Got my jacket. Yes.
I mean, and have you went back?
Yeah, went back about 2 years later, I think 2 or 3 years later.
Okay. So you just go anytime you want now. Just go and drop out a BQ. Like, I'm gonna go this year.
Right. Yeah, I had one really good race that like qualified me for all the US majors one year. So I ended up doing like 4 or 5 in one calendar year, and that was too much. That was right before I blew up at OG Yeti the last time. That was a bad decision of just like so many races and so much travel in one year. But yeah, I've checked it off, right? Like I had one really good marathon that qualified me for all the things. I'll have to do that again. We'll give other people their lottery spot, right?
Yeah, I have never had any desire to go to Boston until Mary said something about it after Damn Yeti. And she's like, you qualified for Boston. I'm like, she's like, you going to run it? And I was like, no.
Oh.
And then Nick and Mary were both like, well, Nick's like, well, I mean, if you'll run, I'll qualify. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
And then Mary's like, hey, it would be fun to all run together. And I'm like, yeah. So I've qualified for Boston. I'm going to put in for it,
Nice.
And then they changed the standard. I missed it. I ended up missing it by, I think my time originally was supposed to be like 3:10.
Yeah.
And I ran a 3:05 at Damn Yeti in the 50. And and then I missed it by like 30 seconds.
Yeah, that sucks.
I was so mad. I was like, whatever. So I'm like,
but you weren't even trying. So
I know.
Like you could do it again.
But now I'm irritated and it stays in my brain. I'm like, I should do it just for that reason. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. You never had any desire to run at Boston. I don't know.
There's worse reasons.
You talking about a jacket now. Now I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. It's I know there's a lot of ultra people that don't like marathons and kind of hate on road marathons and stuff. And that's fine. Like, it's not for everybody. But I enjoy them. I think it's fun. You get to see some cool people. You get to, experience some cool stuff out there on the roads too. So, yeah.
Well, if you want to get better at running an ultra, do a marathon training block. That will give you plenty of respect for a marathon.
Yep.
I like to do one marathon a year, and that's just the Knoxville Marathon. And nice. I get that one in, and it's like, I'm satisfied. That's all I need to do. That's it.
Knock it off, move on. Fair enough. Yeah.
So this Eagle Up Ultra, it's in Ohio in June. How'd you like that? Was it pretty hot, humid?
It gets hot. Yeah. So it's really nice because it's cool enough in the morning still in Ohio, right? You don't have to worry about it. But then in the afternoon, it gets real hot. And so I've run it a few times. And I think that was the race that really kind of taught me about patience too. And like when it's hot in the afternoon, you need to just calm down and chill out and just run like a comfortable pace, right?
Yep.
Because once it cools down and the sun goes down, you're going to be able to run again. If you haven't blown yourself up and you haven't gotten dehydrated and worn out from the heat earlier in the day. So yeah, I think that that is the challenge of those summer races and everything. But I think there is a lot to learn from it too. Yeah, but I like the looped race format of it. I think fueling every 5 miles is perfect for me. So having the aid station every 5 miles, you come in, you just grab something and keep moving. Again, I'm kind of a people person. I like knowing the people and seeing the same people over and over all day and like checking in on them and stuff. So that helps keep me motivated and going. So yeah, that format I really like a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the benefit with the loop course too is like you can experiment, I would never experiment. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm terrible.
He experiments a lot.
I do. But, not as much as I used to. But like I would experiment on a loop course way faster than I would a point to point.
Yeah.
Now, I have experimented on point to points and it's not turned out well. So, there's that.
Yeah.
You experiment on a loop course, you can go back real quick and be like, well, this shit ain't working.
Yep.
Like, let's
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of room for error, right? In that where when you're at, 20 miles between an aid station at night in the middle of the woods, not so much.
Yep.
Well, and I love that you did. So you kind of did stages here. You did your marathon, you did the 50K, then you jump into 100K, and then you do Tunnel Hill, 100 miler. And, this is all over the course of like what, maybe 2 years?
Right. Yeah. Probably.
So you've went from trying to get your steps.
Yep.
To qualifying for Boston and running 100 miles. Did you qualify for Boston before what year was that?
I think
that you did Boston?
2017.
Okay, so you did Boston and your first 100 miler the same year.
Cool. I think so. Yeah. Real close to each other.
That's awesome. So you did Tunnel Hill 100, and that was your first 100 miler. How was that experience now? So you've done marathons, you've done a 50K, and you've done 100K. But 100 miles hit a little different. And I'm just curious because not only did you pick a 100 miler that, obviously 100 miles is hard, but you picked a really hard 100 miler because it's flat and fast, which is a whole different ball game when you're doing 100 miles. And, anyone that ever makes the mistake to say like a Yeti 100 or a Tunnel Hill 100 or anything are easy. Yeah.
Haven't done 100.
not if you've tried to run it. So, I want to know like how that experience was. Like, when did the moment kick in?
Oh my gosh. I think my hips locked up at like mile 70, maybe. So, for those of you that don't know Tunnel Hill, right, it's like four out and backs, and it goes like downhill for 50 miles, essentially uphill for 50 miles, but 4 times. And it's the same weekend as the time change, which means you're in the dark for like 60 to 70% of this thing, which I think people underestimate too. It's dark and it gets cold at that rate.
Very cold. Sometimes it's covered in snow, like it's so cold.
Right. So a lot of newbies like me, right, do it. And we're like, oh, it's easy because, it is easy. You're not going to get lost. You're not going to fall off a cliff. There's a lot of really good things about it. But like, the dark and the cold, definitely you underestimate. And then, so when I started that, I was talking to a woman, she was a PT. She goes, make sure you're stretching your hips out because it's going to be your hip flexors that go today. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't even know what that means. And I got super lonely at like mile 60. So going back out on like the third out and back or whatever. And I came upon this woman who was a triathlete. She was doing her first 100 and she was walking, she's throwing up, like she's in bad shape. And I was just happy to see a human. So I was like, oh, good. We're going to be friends. And I get to walk now because you're struggling and I would be a jerk to leave you. So I start walking with her and we walk for like 12 miles because she can't keep anything down. And then we get back to the aid station and I realize my hips are done, right? Like they've walked for 12 miles in the cold and they are not moving anymore. It's done. Like running is done, even if I wanted to. And so I pick up my husband who's going to pace me. And we just start like literally shuffling off. And I would just shuffle. And every time we'd get to like anywhere that I could stop and like stretch, like lean over a little bit, I was doing it and like whimpering. It started to snow. And I didn't know that I was going to be walking at mile 80 because I was an idiot and I was new. I'm like, I'm going to be running, so I dressed for running in 30 degrees and not walking in 30 degrees.
Oh,
Freezing my ass off. Drop my mitten in the porta potty. So like my husband like giving me his mitten.
In the porta potty.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Gone. And then so I'm getting like this is about the time I get out of the porta potty. Like things are going awfully, and the woman who I was walking with before comes jogging by. Like she's refreshed. She had some ramen at the aid station. She chilled out, and off she goes down the trail. Ooh, son of a gun. Right? And so, so we're getting through it, whatever. I'm whimpering and just not talking, which is what I do when things are going poorly. I just shut up and I don't say a word to anybody. And we get to the top, like the last turnaround, and there's this guy like sitting at the aid station in a sleeping bag and one of those Mylar blankets. And the aid station guy's like, yeah, dude, he's been here like 3 hours. And I'm like, oh, all right, at least I'm not him, right? Like, we're moving. And so don't shuffling down the trail again because my feet won't go that fast and I can't move them. And that guy gets up and he passes me like 10 miles later. And I told my husband, I'm like, is that the guy? Is that the guy that hadn't moved for 3 hours? And he was like, I think so.
Was he still wearing the bag?
Right. Yeah. Just still wearing the bag. Yes. Still in the bag, still in the Mylar blanket. There's people passing me in the full length Patagonia coats that they've gotten from their cruise. Right. And I'm just like, it was awful. So we get, and I just wanted to get like the sub 24, right? Like all that I cared about was like sub 24. And so it was like slipping away as I'm walking the last 25 miles at a shuffle. And but I will never forget because I sent my husband ahead for the last 5 miles. I'm like, just go get the car warm. Like as soon as I cross the finish line, we are out, right? Like I'm getting in the car, I'm getting warm, and we're done. Never looking back. And so I sent him ahead, and then like the sun was like starting to peak up just a little. And I was like, oh no. We're getting this done before that sun comes up. I had Hallelujah started playing in my earbuds. I was like, oh, it's meant to be, right? So like how you do, right? When you think you're dead and then it's almost over and your jam comes on and you're like, I can do it. And I shuffle in, I like just barely get in before 24 hours. And I think I got my buckle and walked straight to the car and I'm like, let's go.
Wow.
Get me out of here. And again, I just drove the whole way in my 6 hours from my house in my race clothes, didn't stop, got home. It was my mom was like watching the kids while we did it. And I can't get up the 2 stairs like into our house. And she thinks I'm dying, right? She was like, what did you do? And I was like, I did great, Mom. I did a 100-mile race and I got a buckle. And she was mortified, right? Just like mortified, and was never, ever comfortable with me running ever after that. She was just like, you can't ever do that again. Scared her to death. So it was rough. The first 100 was rough for sure. But again, like you've all said 100 times, like you learn a lot, right?
Yeah, you do.
Learn a lot about pacing and nutrition and stretching out when you should.
So I have to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
At what point in that race did you say, F this shit, I'm never running again?
Oh. Yeah. I told my husband at mile like 90, I go, if I could quit here, I would. I get it. I get why people quit at mile 95. Sitting at home, you don't get that. You're like, why would you do it? You've been going 95 miles. What do you mean you can't finish the last 5? No, I would have been out. If there was any way off that trail, done. I wanted no part of it. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I have ever. What was I thinking? This was ridiculous. This was a stupid idea. Oh, I was over it. Yeah, big time.
I'll say, how cool to do under 24 hours in your first 100-mile race.
That's got to be the course, right? Because it was not my preparation, clearly.
I mean, regardless of the course, like that's hard for people to do,
is.
period.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people that have went out to Yeti, and the goal is to get the sub 24-hour buckle, and they haven't yet.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to do. You know, under 24 hours to run 100 miles in a day. I mean, it's a still. I know people are running it in like 14 hours now.
Yep.
Right.
But
Yep.
to do it in under 24 is still really impressive.
That's kind of you. I think I was an idiot and went out really fast, as we all do, right? Our first time, and banked so much time that I could literally like shuffle in because I ran like such an idiot like the first 50 miles. So that's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know how you rode in the car for 6 hours with the same clothes on. Hell's no.
Was you sleeping?
Nope.
Oh yeah, I was out.
When you're sleeping, you don't know. You're done.
Right.
Mary laughs at me all the time because I cannot stand to smell myself. It is
Good for
awful.
you.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
mean,
you.
as soon as I'm done running, the clothes are coming off and clean, nice clothes. I'm taking a bath in the sink if I have to. Like we are getting the smell away because I cannot. Volstate crushed my soul.
Oh, that's good
Like
stuff.
I got in the shower with my clothes, Becca. I washed my clothes with soap too, every night.
And see, I went all of Allstate and didn't change my clothes.
Oh,
Like a full race.
That's how I did it. Yep. Same
So,
way.
no,
We're different people.
Yep.
I can't.
I didn't even wash my clothes in the shower like you did. I took them off and let them next to the air conditioner, hoping they would dry, and they never would because
Nope.
it's so humid.
Nothing does.
They never.
I
dry.
mean, I made my own washing machine in the shower. I was good
That's
to go.
impressive. I was so sick of being wet after that race.
Yep.
It's, you know, right? You just want to be dry.
Don't
Like,
ever
I just
dry.
want to be dry. No.
Yep.
Yes.
They
No,
don't
it's dry.
dry.
Mm.
Nope.
Yeah, so you do Tunnel Hill, and then you decide to do another flat and fast 100K. You go do the Pistol.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah, was it?
I love Pistol. Yeah. I do.
So you didn't like. I'm surprised you didn't like detour from the fast and flat 100 after this point, but you just went right back into another one.
So she got her head like, now I've got it figured out. Now I got it figured out. Now this is what I'll do in my next one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what I can train on. So like, I don't have trails near me. I have roads, right? And like being a mom and working and all the things, I don't have time to drive to the trails. So I was like, well, if this is what I can train on, then this is what I'm going to run. And I did Burning River in there somewhere. And that was a real trail race, right? And that took me hella longer. And yeah, I'm like, well, this is a different experience, right? Like, I kind of like knowing where I'm going. I kind of like seeing where I'm going. And so I know it's not for everybody, right? Like a lot of people, they don't like the pavement. They don't like, you know, being in cities and stuff. I don't mind it because I like to know where I'm going. And I like to be able to kind of anticipate what's coming up, which again, some people hate that, right? So it takes all kinds. But I love Pistol again because I think, right, there's that community there. They have wonderful aid stations. They're all over the place. They're heavily manned aid stations. You're not going to get lost. There's nothing terrible is going to happen to you, right? Like it's a very comfortable environment to run a race in. And again, if something goes wrong, you're not going to die at Pistol, right? Like, so
we are big fans of the Pistol course too. We actually run an aid station there every year. East Coast Adventures does.
Yep.
And some of us always volunteer and others race. So
Or both.
Or both. We've done both because that race lasts, the Pistol as a volunteer is way harder than running it.
It is.
it always is.
Because they start a marathon Sunday morning. So you get there Saturday morning, set everything up, you work all day Saturday, and then Sunday you got these brand new marathoners come through there like ripping and ready, and you're just like,
right, you all need to slow down.
Yeah, it's like I thought we were
You need
done.
to give us a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, where'd these guys come from? What's going on?
I think this year it's moved to what, a 10 and 20 miler.
Yeah, something like that.
I think they've
Interesting.
well they've connected with the Knoxville Track Club, so they're
Okay.
going to use that run as like a build up to the Knoxville Marathon.
Mhm.
Wow, that's fun. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what you need is more people on that trail.
Right.
That's what you need. At the same time as the poor 100-milers are just out there like trying not to die.
Well, you know, they have, I guess this will be the third year of new race directors.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, Brian and Gordon run that now. And, you know, they do a good job with it. So
Yep.
we help them. We didn't really ever work the old pistol. Me and Mike volunteered one time. We were supposed to do the road crossings or markings, and that was like COVID was still happening, so the race never happened, and so we never
Yeah.
worked. But we basically helped Brian and Gordon since they've took it over
Yep.
because they always help us at the Cherokee.
Yeah.
And so they help us, we help them, quid pro quo, you know.
Yeah. That's
but
great.
I didn't know until today that you had ever even ran the pistol.
Mhm.
So
The 100K, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So do you
Yeah,
ever plan on going back?
I would like to. And I have a group of friends up here who are just kind of getting into ultras and stuff. And I tell them, I'm like, pistol is a super fun one.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like me, where like they like the swag, they like to get the stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, it's just kind of beginner friendly in that you're not going to die on the course if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
right? Like, I get that mountain ultras are beautiful and the point to points are wonderful, and we all love that. But when you're first getting into ultras, like, just get this distance down first.
Yeah.
Is my opinion, right? Like, just figure out the distance and finishing it in a safe place, and then move on to, like, you know, the PCT or whatever you want to do. But yeah, so I'm trying to get a group of people to come down maybe and do that. The problem with pistol for us all up here is always that it's so early in the year, right?
Yep.
So it has not got above 20 degrees here since Thanksgiving. And
Oh,
we have
wow.
had ice the whole time. It's been an awful winter in Michigan. Training has sucked. So
Yep.
like,
I
have a
bet.
spring race is just hard. Anytime, you know, you see a northerner at a spring race, you just got to like give them a tip of the hat for even showing up, because it's been a long winter, like on the treadmill, most likely, if they're getting decent miles.
Goodness.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gets old real quick,
Yeah.
running on the treadmill every day.
Well, that's what ours
It
has
sure
been
does.
the last 2 weeks. That's what we've been doing.
Mhm.
Is the treadmill, and it's like you said, it's not fun.
No, it is not at all. So, but yeah, I do love pistol, and hopefully we'll back down there sometime.
And
good.
with you saying, you know, like a safe space and all that for like new people trying to go for 100. That's what my wife's doing. So
Yeah.
she signed
Oh,
up for
fun.
the 100, and then she's going to run the Cherokee. So this is her kind of her, like, you know, intro to like
Nice.
something big like that. But she's excited.
Yeah, and I think especially like, I don't know, for your first one, like, it's fun to get like the hoodie and the bag and the buckle and the fun like pistol stuff, right?
Yep.
Like, it just makes it more special, I think, for a lot of people. You know, you're not just showing up and getting like a rock at the end with your name on it, which is
Yeah, you know, and
fine.
that's I will say, like, I've heard horror stories of people that have ran like their first 50-mile race or their first 100-mile race, and they didn't get anything.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, I don't really care if I get a medal or a shirt. I want
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I'll take either one. I don't care. Give me one of those, because I want something to remember the race by. Man, even if I paid $100 for a 100-miler, like, give me something like that I can remember the race.
Yeah. I agree.
So I listened to someone tell me they won a 100-mile race or 50-mile race. I'm not going to say the name of the race.
Yep.
It's a race in Kentucky.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I think it was a 50-miler. I think it was a 50-miler. It was one of their first races, and they podiumed.
Okay. Nice.
Didn't get a shirt, didn't get a medal.
Whoa.
No
That's
award, no nothing.
That's
Or at least they
hard.
podium.
Yeah. And, like, to me, like, I get it. Like, I've heard some people say, like, well, I don't run for a buckle. I don't run for a medal. I don't run for a shirt.
Good
And
for you.
that's cool. You know?
Yep. Yep.
And it's kind of like if you're a vegetarian
Mhm.
and you're a race director,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean everything you put out at your aid stations is going to be just for vegetarians. You know, like, if you don't like a buckle and you're a race director, that's cool.
Yeah.
but your runners,
Right.
some of your runners do.
Yep.
And that's the thing sometimes. Like, I wish that, like everybody would step back sometimes and be like, this may be their very first race. They're going to always remember this experience. So I want to try to make it the best experience I can for them.
Yep.
And, it's unfortunate that doesn't always happen.
Yep.
But you're going to get that if you go to the Pistol, you go to an East Coast Adventures race, you go to a Yeti race, you go to something like that, you're going to get a souvenir, you're going to get a memory, you're going to get pictures. It's
Yep.
but
Yep.
and some of the pictures you probably never want to see. It's kind of like the one I sent you today. It was funny.
Mhm.
I asked Becca to
Yep.
send me a picture, and she's like, "Oh God," and she's like, well, not everybody's pictures can look like yours and Mary's. And I sent her a picture of me puking at the Yeti, and I said, not all pictures are good.
That's a lot of pressure trying to find a picture of just yourself at a race that doesn't look like you're dying. We don't have that many pictures.
Hey, if Nick Morgan is taking a picture, it doesn't matter if you're dying or not. You're going to look good. Somehow he does it, and you look good.
He does.
God bless race photographers, honestly.
Yes.
Right? For the ones that get like that one good shot when you just want to walk and you can't walk because there's a photographer all of a sudden and you're like, crap, I got to run again. But
Yeah,
they
I always
do
think
it.
it's funny when I hear Nick or Misty say, I took 10,000 pictures and then they upload 600. And I'm
Mhm.
like, that was a lot of shitty pictures to get those 600 good ones,
Yep. Yep. I know. Yeah, at Dark Anchor, when I was saying they took like 1,600 pictures, and I'm like, so you gonna upload all those? How many are we gonna see? Because I can guarantee you 99% of those are trash.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like, the worst pictures I've ever had was in like half marathons, 5Ks. Like, those are the worst.
The
Pictures.
Sufferfest. The whole
Yes.
time
Yeah.
the Sufferfest.
You see those pictures, it's like trash.
Mhm.
Trash.
You're like, oh, they're running really hard. Good for them. I always have food in my hand, some sort of food. Like there's a gel pack, there's a little Debbie something. There's always food in my
Always
hands.
eating something.
Yep. So
Well, I love that you jumped right into the Pistol. I think that's cool, and that is a great race for anybody that's never ran it. It is super fun. If you run 100 miles out there, just know that it is basically all greenway.
Mm-hmm.
So it again, anybody that ever says greenways or other races are really easy, 100 miles on the Pistol course is extremely hard.
Hey, I said that last year. That's what I said. I said, that's just a greenway. 100 miles on a greenway.
funny.
Yeah, 70 miles in, or what is it, 50 miles in, I was throwing it up everywhere. I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't so easy no more.
Yeah,
Yep,
and
yeah.
especially for, you brought up a good point earlier. Like, you run on the road a lot.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like,
I don't have climbing legs.
but that's
Like I just don't.
but that's great.
Yeah.
But for like the Pistol and stuff like that, Tunnel Hill, Yeti, that's great.
Yeah.
For people that have
Yeah.
run on a trail and think they're going to come run Pistol
It's
100,
different. Yep.
They're
it
suffering
hurts
too.
way different.
Yeah.
running on an asphalt or anything like that compared to a trail 100 miles, like, it's just a different feeling.
Well, like a lot of times in the trails, you get these walking sections where where you can walk it. You get a mile climb and you're walking. And then
Yeah.
you're out there on the greenway and you're like, I'm on a greenway. Why am I walking? And then, you like self-defeat yourself when you're thinking about it.
Yeah. Or like the old Pistol course had these two hills that were probably like 10 feet, right? But they were like straight up. And every time you do that loop, and every time you're like, F this, right? Like, I got to walk this stupid 10-foot hill because I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And I'm,
It's the
and I'm not
littlest, it's a little hill, but it is literally a triangle.
Yeah. It sucks. So, it all sucks in its own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta.
Their new course
Yeah.
is probably a little bit better. It at least avoids
Yeah.
that, but there's still a couple of climbs in it. that
It
gets
avoids
you.
that, that
Whew.
main road crossing that you have to do or whatever.
Yeah, no more roads.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
I
That is
see
good.
that you did, Yamacraw. So you've done Yamacraw twice at this point. So you have done a couple of like 50K trail races up to
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. It has rained both times I've done Yamacraw, and I just try to survive because I'm like, I'm going to slip off the side of this mountain. Right. Because, it's like single track, which again is not something that I'm super comfortable with. And then it's raining. And so it's just mud anyway. And I'm like, I'm just going to slip right off. Just slip off. And the first time I did it was, I will never forget the race. So there's that river crossing, right? And normally they'll put like a rope across it or something, or they'll have a boat that takes you across if it's flooded. And so we get down there and the race director is like, all right, so we got the boats lined up. You're going to go across American Ninja Warrior style. And I'm like, what the F is he talking about? Like, I don't understand. And we get there and then I see what he's talking about is he's got 3 like whitewater rafting boats tethered together across the river. And you jump down into the boat from the shore, which is like 4 feet higher than the boat. And then you scramble across, and then somebody on the other side gets your hand and hauls your ass up on the other side. And I was like, what are we doing? And that's like, this is not the pistol, right? But you're like ninja warrioring across this. So, I mean, it was fun and I love it. And it's a great memory. But just when you're in it, I'm like, I'm going to fall out of this boat. Like if there was somebody to haul me up the other side, I'm not getting out because I'm 5'4" and that like berm is 4 feet. I can't get out of the boat. Like I'm done. Like this is the end of my race because I'm stuck in the boat because I can't climb out.
Oh man.
Yeah, my experiences at Yamacraw have been rough just because it's rained every time and it gets slick. And then I get scared running down the hills because I think I'm going to die because I'm going to slip and fall and blow my knee out. It's beautiful. Probably one of the most beautiful courses that I've ever seen.
Big South Fork is awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It is gorgeous.
Unfortunately, that race isn't happening anymore right now. So
I know. I heard the bridge, right? Because the bridge is out and stuff. And
he's still doing no business, but Yamacraw is right now paused until they do something with that bridge. And just going back real quick to pistol. So you finished 3rd overall female, which is awesome. But it looks like you decided to do Eagle Up Ultra 100K again, which you win again. Mm-hmm. And then I look up to the top of the screen and I see Pistol Ultra again. Mm-hmm. So you have done the 100K a couple of times, which is awesome. You podiumed again, 3rd place female again.
And she got an hour faster.
So, obviously you're gaining some confidence and
I like the 100K.
More than likely experience too, like that's the thing that is so important in these longer distances. It's experience and understanding. Yeah. Understanding what you're going to feel and why, and like how you can start to change that, like your first 100 miler, it is just an absolute shit show. Like if you don't really know, I mean, because like you said, mile 70, your hips lock up. Mile 80, you drop your glove in a porta potty, and then it's just all hell from there. Like
survive until the end of that race. Your goal is just to make it out alive.
But I do want to talk about this experience because you hinted at it earlier, but you did Burning River 100 miler. How was that experience for you?
It was interesting, for sure. So the Burning River, the course, when I did it, what people told me was the first 50 is mostly pavement. And I'm like, okay, great. Like I can gut out like a real trail for 50 miles. At the end, I'm going to be slowing down and walking probably a lot of it anyway. It is not. The first 50 mile, it was maybe 10 miles on pavement. And then you're right into single track. So that was great. I had a wonderful though, like mother-daughter team that was crewing me because I had never done it. And like having, a family, my husband stays home. Like my kids don't come. My family doesn't come to races. It's just me and whoever I might pick up to go with me. And so there's a wonderful mother-daughter team. And they were helping me out because they had crewed there for years and stuff. And so, I get in the woods and I'm like, okay, so I guess we're just in the woods now for the rest of the day. And then I follow this guy who, by the way, also was dressed up as a shark at Flying Pig. And I got so sick of hearing people go, look, he's a shark. They're like, I had to like jet ahead of him at Flying Pig. So I got so sick of hearing it. Same guy at Burning River, same pace as me again, goes off course We end up like down in a valley somewhere before somebody's like, we haven't seen a course marking. Like, oh shit. All right. So back we go, like 3 or 4 miles. And so that was, my first experience with getting lost too, and being like pissed off. But now you've got extra miles, and like you got to get out of your head about that, right? Because it is what it is, and I hate that guy. But we're moving on. And so it went well, right? And then the nighttime section came, and my little pacer friend Kristen was coming with me, and my biggest memory from that one is like there was a stream crossing that was probably 3 inches, right? But it was nighttime, and I'm tired, and I'm like a toddler. I'm like, I don't know how to get across that. She was like, okay, you're gonna hold my hand, and I'm gonna take you across. It was ridiculous, right? But I was like, thank you. Like, I think I'm gonna slip and fall, and I don't know what's going on, because I was exhausted and I was just so over it and so tired. And I probably wasn't eating enough, right? Because it was like I was used to fast and flat course times, and now I'm like doing a real trail, and that's taking a lot longer, which I hadn't planned on. So I ran out of snacks, and she's like fishing out Halloween candy from 2 years ago. She's like, I think this was from the Halloween 5K last year. You want that? I'm like, yeah, I'll eat that. That's great. And so having a pacer, right, for that nighttime sections, gets you through, right? So many times. And her mom got me through for sure. So it was, again, it's a learning experience, right? Of like, you're going to go slower on trails, you dumbass, right? You're not going to get done in 22 hours just because you think that's the pace that you should be doing. But it was interesting, and it was good to do it, just to be like, okay, do I like trails? Do I want to get over to the trails? And I think I've learned that I love hiking trails. I love being on trails, but like racing trails, for me, I fall on everything. Like if there is a 1-inch route, I will fall over my own feet. There doesn't even have to be anything there. I will fall. Like I don't have enough experience on them to really, kind of like pick up the pace and do well on them. So I just know if I sign up for like a real trail race, it's going to take a minute, and I am not going to be anywhere near the top 10. Like that is not my wheelhouse. So it has to be like a Yamacraw or something, right? Where it's going to be just a really beautiful course and be worth it to go down there and spend the day on the trail and kind of take my time. But Burning River was a great course. It's, kind of a standard in Ohio. A lot of people love it. I had a good experience. It was a learning experience.
Well, and you did it.
I did it. Checked it off.
Regardless of anything that happens, and like that's always the thing. It's like to finish the race is still huge.
Yeah.
You can take that for granted so easily, and we talk about Rob Apple on here all the time. And, but he honestly has the best comment ever, and it never really resonated with me until I got my first DNF. And and then that's when I realized, that he's right. He's so right. You can run 100-mile race, finish that thing, and DNF a 50K 2 months later. It's just a bad day. And this man has I think he's over 800 ultras now.
820 something.
Wow.
830 something. Yeah.
So, he has the Guinness World Record for the most ultras. He's been in Ultra Running magazine several times about it, or at least once, I know. But we had him on the podcast, and he was talking about it, and it's just funny because like he will come to our events, and me and Matt and Mike, whoever, were like, in our race speech, we will stop and say, Rob Apple, what number is this? And he'll say it, and everybody's like, oh, and we're like, yeah, he has the Guinness World Record. But Rob Apple will always say, if I finish, this will be 8:21. But he will never, ever tell you that number until he says, if I finish.
Yeah.
And he said that to me for years. Like, I've ran races with him, and he's always said that. And he's a cool guy. Like, he walks around drinking, not electrolytes and in his race. And he's just a cool guy, but he would always say that.
Yeah.
And it just never really resonated with me until I got a DNF. And then I'm like, man, I should have, you got to really respect that.
Yep.
Yep.
Cause
100%.
any of us cannot finish a race. So like, it's funny, like in a marathon, like you're struggling to get the BQ qualifier, like you're trying like hell to get that thing. But in a 100-mile race, like if you start out and it goes to shit, you're just like, well, I just want to finish.
Yep.
Like that's the goal. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like
Yep.
if you're
Switches.
trying to qualify for Boston, you can just walk off the course, you're like,
Yeah.
whatever. But when you're doing a 100-mile race, like that's a different kind of challenge, because like it's not always about speed. It's about willpower and grit and trying to endure, because
Yeah.
one thing can go wrong in 20 plus hours and destroy your whole race, no matter how good you were doing.
Yep. I mean, just the weather, right? Like things completely out of your control can just knock you out. But I think to your point on that, you got to be in the right headspace to make that flip too. Because I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm not going to get sub 24. I'm out.
Yeah.
Why am I even here?
Yeah.
Right. And they leave. And you're like, there are so many other goals that you can have other than a time goal, right? Like I try to always tell people that too when they're starting, or like, what should my goal be for like this 100 or this 100K or whatever. And like, your goal is to finish, right? Like number one, just finish the race. Like don't get hung up on a time. Don't get hung up on this or that. Like, because that's how you get defeated out there, is when you don't hit those goals that you just randomly set for yourself or that you think you should hit. So I think it takes kind of a stronger person too to just continue, right? Like, yeah, I'm not going to get that A, B, or C goal, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to finish, right? So
I'm pretty sure I've never hit my A goal
yet. Well, you have some pretty impressive finishes for none of them being your A goal.
well,
So
I have a problem with setting an A goal, apparently.
you need to be more data driven, right?
I guess
so. I'll get some spreadsheets for you.
But you're exactly right. Like it is about just being out there sometimes and trying to, being in the right headspace, knowing you can work through things.
Yeah.
And, to your point, like Burning River was not what you expected. As soon as you hit the trail, you were probably like, damn it.
Yep.
And
this was not 50 miles.
And
we're at mile 12 and I'm in the woods.
But you did it. And that's like, man, to do that at mile like 10, 11, 12 and like already have that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about 100-miler versus a marathon or, anything like that. Like a marathon, you can get to the halfway point and your person's not there to give you a gel and you get pissed off. You get mad. But when you're in a 100-mile race and you get to mile 50 and your drop bag's not there, you may cry. It's a whole different like process, and that's what's so interesting about it. Like you have to respect every distance for those reasons. Like a 100-miler, you're going to respect it because you're going to be out there, and if you miss a drop bag, you're not going to have your gloves, you're not going to have something, your headlamp. In a marathon, you miss that gel, those next 6 miles are going to suck so bad because you have no carbs, like you have no sugar. So like you have to respect each distance. But man, the 100-miler, it can snowball so quickly for hours. And, it's just, it's definitely hard. So I think it's cool that you stayed in there and dug that one out and like finished it.
Yeah. Had my hand held through the creek.
Well, I want to jump up a little bit because we obviously could never go through all of your races in one show because you have way too many. And one that I'll ask you about real quick is you did Volstate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a blast.
What did you, if you could, like, what was your biggest takeaway from Volstate?
How wonderful people are. Right? Like the kindness of people just on the road. I think being a woman runner, and especially like we talked about, my mom is terrified that I run these things, right? She's convinced I'm going to die. I was brought up being told, like, the minute you step outside your house, someone's going to try to rape and kill you because you're a young woman alone. And so I did have like a guy in a van, right? Like my friend Scott and my friend Amy, they went down, they crewed me. they couldn't go with me. For people that don't know, like, you're not allowed to have pacers with you and that kind of thing. But they were there mostly just because I was concerned about safety, right? Like, I've got 3 kids at home. I don't need to go down to Tennessee and get hit by a car and end up dead on the side of the road somewhere. But the reason I went back a second time was truly because the people down there were so amazing. Like, the random mother and daughter that were like in the cemetery just handing out water to people. Like, they didn't even know what was happening, but they saw people keep coming by. And so they went and they bought water and they were just handing them out to random people. Or like, there was another mom and her kids that were driving down the highway giving out popsicles, which was the greatest thing that I've ever had in my life, right? Like, that kind of kindness and unexpectedness is just so meaningful and impactful when you're just, Volstate is like the survival, right? Like, you're just trying to get food and water, like, even with a crew, right? It's not easy no matter how you're doing it. Yeah. And it really kind of strips you down to the barest essentials. Like, what do I need? I need water and I need food. I don't need a place to sleep. Like, you're not getting to bed at night. I didn't ever get a hotel room or anything like that. We always slept outside. I never changed clothes, right? So it's just like, yeah, you just appreciate those people so much. And it usually was around my birthday. And one time, there was this wonderful couple that met me on the course with a hostess Twinkie. Like, they had figured out where I was, and they came out and they sang happy birthday to me, and they gave me a hostess Twinkie. And I'm like, this is what people are great, right? Like, there's so many kind people in this world, that sometimes it's really worth it to put yourself out there and be a little vulnerable, even like in a safety kind of situation, just to meet these people and see that there is a lot of goodness still in the world. And there's a lot of kind people out there that want to help, whether they know you or not. And that's my biggest takeaway from Volstate. I love that race.
I love it
so much.
That is a wonderful answer.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing for you at Volstate?
Whew. Okay. So I'll try to be quick. But the first time I got in, I think was the COVID year. So like, Laz emailed me 4 days before the race and said, you got a spot if you can be here. And I'm like, what the, right? Okay. But I'm going to go because I really want to do the race. You never get in. So I had 4 days warning. I went down, started, no idea what we're doing. And on day 2, I had already got like heat exhaustion. I'm like dying on the side of the road, and my ankle has swollen up like a grapefruit and I can't bend it. Like, there's no more bending my ankle on day 2. And so I call my husband and my friend Matt, Matt Frazier had done the race before. And he was like, my phone a friend. And he was like, oh, don't worry. You just keep going. That's going to get better. I'm like, okay. And my husband just completely BS's. And he's like, I hear that day 2 is the hardest. So you got to get through day 2 and then everything kind of gets better. And I'm like, okay, because I'm naive and I don't know any better. And so I just take off walking again, right? And the freaking camber of the road, right? Like, you already have like a broke ankle and then you've got this camber for the next 250 miles. Yep. You're just going to kill yourself. I have never hurt so bad in my life as I hurt at Volstate. And I'm sure everybody feels that way. Like, nobody feels good at the end of that race. But I think, that swollen ankle that just wouldn't bend for, I think I did 100 miles the first day. And then after that, it was like walking for the next 4 days to finish because my ankle wouldn't bend. And, that was awful. And I kept hitting the little towns at the worst times, like when the bars are getting out and all the drunk people are driving home. That's when I was hitting the little towns. And I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, right? Like, if it wasn't bad enough, you got like the guys rolling down the windows, like, you need a ride? Nope, I'm good. Thank you very much. So that was, again, when I went back a second time, I'm like, we are going to line this up. I am not going through these towns between 9 and midnight, right? Like, we're going to get through. And the second time was, again, just the experience, right? Of knowing what you don't know the first time and getting those towns lined up better, getting through in the good hours, made a huge difference in that experience too, of just feeling a little bit safer on the course and knowing kind of what you're getting into and knowing how bad it's going to hurt. Yep. You're going to finish. So whether you like it or not, there's only one way home, and it's to get to the top of Sand Mountain. So
yeah. And even if you call them to pick you up, there's a good chance they won't pick you up. So
yeah, it's true. I was so scared of Jan. I was like, I'm never talking to Jan. I'm not calling her. She will slap me upside the head.
I love it. I won't mention any names on here, but one guy called There was two of them running, and we've had one of them on the podcast, but it wasn't him that called; it was his friend.
Yeah.
And he called to come get the meat wagon to come pick him up, and she drove by, rolled the window down, said, "You look fine," and drove back and left. And he had to he finished the race. Yeah. But she's like, "You look fine," and he left, or she left, and he like got so like just demoralized.
Awesome.
It was funny. He's like, "I guess I'm," and his post was like, "I guess I'm still in this damn race."
I know. Tried to quit. Jan kept driving.
Yeah.
But she's scared.
I
she's
love
tough.
it.
Not this one, Jan.
But what you said is spot on. Like the people make that race. The volunteers, the angels. I shouldn't even say volunteers. It's literally just like road angels.
Yeah.
But the other piece that you briefly mentioned was like you're just trying to like get water, get food. Yeah. And that to me was like the most humbling experience and the best experience that I've had in a long time at an event. And I think that's one of the reasons Volstate is also special. You get to see the kindness from these road angels that they are spending all of their money and their time to do this. There is no incentive for them to do what they do. But then on the other piece, you are brought down to a level of you would pick a bottle of water up on the side of the road if it come down to it, because like you are literally just trying to figure out how to get from when you wake up that morning, you're literally just trying to figure out how you're going to eat and drink so that you can go to your next spot. And like, that is so humbling to know that that's your only worry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that is just a whole different perspective, like if for us, like for people that have a home and have a family and like you have a job and you have air conditioning and all this stuff, like when you're put into that situation, it doesn't take long to realize like how much you respect people that are struggling more and like how that feels. And like to me that struck me really hard. Like I was very humbled of like literally the only thing I'm worried about is trying to get somewhere to get water. I mean, it is literally the bare essentials.
Right. And that's without even talking about the bathroom situations. Right. Like, come on, man. The only time I think I almost cried at Ball State was, I don't know what the deal is with rural Tennessee, but all the bathrooms are always closed. Mm-hmm. They do not open. They're closed. And there was this like the guy right in the middle of nowhere, and it's the only gas station for 20 miles, and the bathroom's closed. You gotta be kidding me, right? Usually I'm very nice to all the people. I'm like, is it really closed? Because like I'm like welling up with tears because I just want to use like a bathroom for the first time in 3 days. And he's like, oh, fine, go ahead. I'm like, thank you. Why do you have to say closed? It's really not closed. Like you people, oh, so frustrating. Yes, I know. I'm tired of you homeless people walking through here all the time, using my bathroom. I'm like, have some humanity, man. Just please let me go in the bathroom. So it's been days.
So I want to ask you, you've done a lot of hundreds. I didn't realize you've done so many hundreds. But I do want to ask you about one specific 100. And then we'll jump to your current race you just finished. But you won Yeti 100. And that was the year of Yeti cane.
Yes, it was.
So, we had Mary Kate's on here who was talking about, obviously for everybody that heard me just say Mary Kate's, they know it's my fiance. But, we had Mary on here and she had talked about that race. And, for people that did listen to that podcast, this is a really cool little full circle moment is that, Mary was running the race and that tree limb fell, hit her in the head, knocked her out at like mile 70-ish. I don't know. But Miss Becca Joyner is the lady that actually ended up winning the race that day. So she was actually right behind Mary. I don't know if you saw it, but you were behind her when it happened, correct? How was all of that? Man, I've heard horror stories about Yeti cane and how they altered the course, changed everything. The wind was blowing. It was just insane. And it's also the reason that, like I think one of the reasons Jason canceled the race when Hurricane Helene was coming, which was the right decision, but he made that decision pretty quick. And, but how was that like from your perspective in that day? That probably had to be kind of scary for you too, knowing that someone already had gotten hit by a tree, and that you were going to try to finish the race. Like, how was all of that with you?
Yeah. So I'm going to, first off, if anybody was not clear on this, I'm going to be real clear. Mary would have won the race handily had a tree limb not come down on her head. So like win by default because a tree took Mary out. So it was an awful way to win. Let's just say that. It was not felt horrible about that. But yeah, so it was rough. And the worst part was like when you got up White Top, you didn't go all the way up, right? Because of the storm, he had you stop a little bit lower. And I remember like the first 3 women were all up there at the same time at the same aid station. It was pouring rain, like the temperature had dropped, and that's where it was a no drop aid station. But that's where I think they hauled out like 40 people from that aid station during the course of the race because people just wouldn't leave. They're like, we're not. It's not even an aid station. It was like a metal roof, like a carport that they had like a heater in, right? And it's pounding rain, and all the first women are all just standing there kind of looking at each other like, who's going to leave first? It was like Whitney Richmond, me, and then there was some other like super fast girl that's way better than me too. And so finally we all just like man up and we go out, and I knew Mary was in front of me. And it was, gosh, I want to say like we still had 30 miles left almost. And I came through Damascus, and somebody was like, "You're first woman." I was like, "No, I'm not." Right? Like Mary's up there. She must be so fast that you missed her because she's up there, right? Like there's no way. And they're like, "No, she got hauled out because like a tree fell on her and she's knocked out. She's unconscious." And I was like, what are you talking about? Like you got to back up a minute. And like, is she okay? Is she like, what's happening? They're like, we don't know. Well, now what do I do? Right? Like, do you keep going? Because it seems pretty dumb to keep like winning or like going on in a race when maybe like I can still marry a friend, like she's dead somewhere on the side of the trail. Like, should the race end? Like, I don't know what's happening. And I was like, then you're going like, does this person even know? Like, that's a real weird thing for somebody to tell me on the side of the trail, but I have nobody else telling me anything, right? Like, it's just one person. I'm like, are they confused? Was that a hike? Do they even know who Mary is? And then I think we had like one more aid station before the finish. And I was like, does anybody know like what's going on with Mary? And they're like, yeah, they took her to the hospital and there was 2 guys behind her that found her and like got her up, which I don't know, right? If that was even, I think there was one guy that kind of found her and helped get her up and out. They're like, but she's up and she's moving. And I'm like, okay, well, is she like, is she going to be okay? And they're like, we don't know. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like morally conflicted. I don't know. It was bizarre. Right? The whole situation just felt really weird the whole time of just like being concerned for her, being like, well, no one's stopping the race. So I don't know, like maybe they're blowing it out of proportion. Like, what are the chances a limb really fell on her? Like of all people, that it's just going to hit her in the head. So yeah, you just didn't know. Like nobody knew on the course what was happening or, like what her situation was. So even like when I finished and I was asking Jason, like, what's going on? He's like, well, she's in the hospital. She's getting taken care of. She'll be fine. I'm like, oh, okay. It was, it was crazy for sure. And yeah, the weather was just nuts. Like it never even occurred to me though, because I'm naive, I guess, that a tree limb would fall and like actually hit a runner. Never even entered my realm of consciousness until that happened. And I was like, oh crap. Okay. Well, now I see why he moved the aid station down the hill. And now I see like why we're doing all this stuff too. So, it was a good experience for me to not be so naive anymore about the power of nature. So, very glad to hear that she was okay and everything worked out fine. But yeah, it was definitely not the way that you want to win, and definitely not the kind of thing that you want on your mind too, of wondering, how she's doing and is she going to be okay? And man, like, I don't know. It was just a lot of mixed feelings for sure.
Well, and I think I met her the next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
At Firewater, and she come down to our aid station and dropped stuff off. So we all met her that year. And what's funny is we've worked this race together for years and never even met. None of us. But she was telling us the story and was showing us. She still had a knot on her head a month later. Crazy, like
it is.
But
just what are the chances? Like, going back again though to what are the chances, right? Like, she had a great training block. She's having a great race. Everything is going well. Even in a hurricane, a freaking tree limb falls on you. Like, you can't control. What are you going to do? It's just,
yeah, she said she was having like one of the best races she had ever had, and that kind of sucks. That doesn't happen very often. But congratulations, though. I mean, like, it's still like, regardless, things happen in a race that we all can't control, and there's been just as crazy stuff happen to other people. So it sucks so bad, but like, unfortunately that's part of 100-miler. Like, anything can happen.
Anything,
for anybody that's not like ever seen the Dave Mackey story, that one's like, like, that's an interesting to watch on YouTube. Like, this guy was and he's still doing really cool stuff with a prosthetic leg, but this guy's racing a race and a boulder moves, his legs goes down in there and crushed his leg. And never was right for like a year, and they end up having to amputate it. And that, like, there's so many things that we all take for granted, and you just don't even think about this stuff. I mean, that's like Mary running down the hill, and I mean, what's the chances on the Virginia Creeper Trail, how wide that trail is, that a tree limb falls out and hits you in the head? Like, it's just crazy.
I know, it's awful. It's just, you just hate it for her.
And Ultra Sign Up did nominate her for like the the most unfortunate events of the year or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. I don't remember what it's called, but it was funny. So let's talk about your current race, and then we'll get into questions. But you just finished Dark Anchor. You set the course record, 34 hours. I don't know if you ran the whole 34 hours or not, but you got 129 miles. So did you do the whole 34 hours, or did you just stop?
I didn't. We took a much longer break than I thought we took to take a nap. I slept, like my watch said, I slept for 45 minutes, but we were off course for like 3 hours apparently. And I know that there was a lot of whining from me. So we took a nap in my car. And then my friend Amy was crewing me, and she's like, all right, time to go, 7:00. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And she's like, yeah, you are, like, you got to get up. And I was like, my knees are broken. Like, I don't think they work anymore. And it's really warm in the car, and it's really cold outside. And I'm like, I don't need the course record, right? Like, we're just going to chill and nap here till like noon. And then I'll get up and I'll walk some more and I'll be fine. She was like, no, she had to do some real like psychology stuff to get my ass going again. So I took a 3-hour break there, and then I stopped at 32 hours. So we kind of did the math, and we didn't think the people behind me could catch me in 2 hours. And there was like a storm kind of blowing in, the temperature was dropping, and I'm like, we're fine. I could walk another 2 laps if I needed to, but the weather was changing and it was kind of not worth it at that point for me. Yeah. So 32 hours, we called it.
What was the hardest part of the race for you?
Getting out of the damn car in the morning. So
I bet it was cold, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even thinking. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Florida was freezing. So I know 24. Georgia had to be.
Yeah.
24 degrees is what it was there in the morning. So yeah, the temperature switched a lot, and just going into the race, they were calling for like rain one day and like snow, and it was everything, right? Like, they're calling for every kind of weather. So we packed for everything. I had rain pants, I got snow pants, I got snow jackets, I got waterproof everything. And then it turned out to be great. Like the weather was not really an issue, but yeah, the temperature swings were all over the place too. Where like on half the course, you'd be in the sun and it's 70 degrees. And then the back half of the course, you're in the shade the whole time and it feels like it's 40. So you just had to decide, like, you're going to be hot, you're going to be cold, like, because you're not going to be comfortable. It's going to be one or the other. I think something that was really hard for a lot of us was that a lot of it was concrete. So not asphalt even, which is a little softer. And Jason said in the pre-race talk, he said, if I see anybody on a road, you're getting your bib pulled. Like there's no warning, there's no nothing, stay off the roads. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. And then we got on the course. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I see why I said it, because it's concrete. And after a while on concrete, your knees don't feel great. So I think that was a challenge for a lot of people, but it was just a beautiful course. Like you couldn't have asked for a prettier course. We got lucky with the weather. And then, yeah, just that temperature drop the next day was pretty rough on a lot of people. And I think the 3 mile, so it's a 3 mile loop, and it's a wonderful setup where you come through your parking lot. So people have tents set up. You don't have to go off course to like see your people or do anything. But then you fall into that trap, right? Of you're coming by your tent every 3 miles. And so, hey, why don't we get something to eat? Why don't we put on gloves? Why don't we do this? And then there was also a hotel right on the course. So the whole day and night, I'm watching people walk back and forth on this road to their hotel. And I'm like, how many extra miles are you doing, right? Just to go back and forth to a hotel. I think that had to add up for people. But on the whole, like it was just a fun day. Like I never had any serious issues, like GI issues, didn't have any chafing issues, which I always have chafing issues. That kills me. But the course was pretty flat. So you weren't running into like tons of weird blisters and stuff where your feet are, flipping back and forth on the trail at weird angles. Really just set up nice if the weather cooperated, right, for a really comfortable, nice run. So yeah, I think we had a good pacing plan going into it. To kind of, I like to go out really fast and just hang on. Like that's my racing strategy, which has not turned out really well for anything over 100 miles when I've tried it. Which everybody at home is probably like, yeah, of course not, you idiot. Like that's not what you do in ultras. You don't go out fast and bank time. But that's what I do. So I like really tried to be consistent this time of like, you got to slow down, right? Like you cannot go out there and just run whatever you want to run for 75 miles and then just suck it up for the next 50. So stayed consistent with that. And then my plan, because I know myself, I don't like stress at the end of a race. So I like planned like, okay, if the last 12 hours are 20 to 25 minute miles, right? Like what do I need to get done before that so that I can just relax and chill out and still like make my goal, which was at the time 125 miles. Like that's all I wanted, was just to get the 125 miles. And so, yeah, like the pacing worked out, the weather was good, everything went well for the most part. You're always going to be uncomfortable. There's always going to be some things that go wrong, but it was all fairly manageable. So the 125 mile goal was mostly because the female course record before that was 122. So I'm like, I don't care if I win, right? But I just want to get that. Like because there's always be somebody faster than you. That's the thing with running, right? Like no matter what you think is going to happen, there's always somebody that can show up that's just going to have a great day. It's going to blow by you and there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm like, if 125 miles means I'm 10th place, fine. If it means I'm first place, fine. Like I'm comfortable as long as I get the 125. So that was kind of how we built the whole plan of how we were going to run it, was what do we need to do to make sure that I can comfortably get to that mileage by 34 hours.
And then thankfully Jason Green helped you get the overall course record.
Just son of a bitch. He just like, okay. So I knew it was 122. Okay. But I also have a tendency to screw things up because I have a lot on my mind, right? Like I'm a mom, I'm traveling, there's stuff going on. I have screwed things up in the past. So my husband called my friend Amy and he goes, why don't you ask Jason for sure? Like, but make sure she's got the number right, that it's 122 before she stops. So he said, all right. She goes over and asks Jason. She goes, hey, what's the course record? He goes, 126. She was like, Okay. So she catches me on the next loop. She's like, you got to do another like 2 loops. Like you thought you were going to be done at 42. You're not going to be done at 42. You got to keep going. I was like, all right. Right. Cause what are you going to do? You just fine. I'm going to do it. And keep moving. But in the back of my head the whole time, I was like, I have checked this. Like, I know I checked this repeatedly. And so we get done and check ultrasign up. Yeah. Female course record, 122. Male course record, 126. And I'm like, did you, Amy, when you asked, did you say female course record? And she's like, no, like that.
You did it. I mean, you did it with
you
2
got
hours
that,
to
yeah.
spare. So
All good. Yeah. So kudos to Jason because he knows his all pretty well, right? And that's the thing you love about Jason too, is like he knows his runners, right? He knows the people that are on the course. He knows what your goals are and he knows what you're capable of, and he's comfortable pushing you out there to do what you can do, which is why we love him. So
he is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, chafing. You would think by now you would figured this out. Like,
I think some people are just built different. I think there are just some things that some people can't do. And for me, it is chafing, right? I always tell people like every runner has their own superpower. Like everybody has something they can do really well. Like whether you have an iron stomach, whether you don't get blisters, whether you don't chafe, there's something everybody does really well, right? But then all the rest is usually up for grabs. And I usually can eat anything, right? So that's my thing. Like whatever's on the course, I can eat it. It's fine. But the chafing, oh my gosh. I have come through before. I think it's 7-Eleven, like blood is just pouring off me. And Jason goes, did you fall? Like, did you get impaled by something? I'm like, no, it's chafing, you jackass. Right?
that hurts.
Because
man.
That is awful. Yeah.
It is awful. And I've gotten to the point where I just use KT tape in a lot of places. And then when I take the KT tape off, you can see the chafing around the edges where the KT tape was.
All right. So you have to send me your address. We're going to send you something to try.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
It is helping Jarian. And Jarian said
Okay.
he has never found anything to help his chafing. So,
All right. Well, if it can help Jerry, and then I will.
Yeah.
I will also try it.
send us your address after we offer. We'll send you some to test. So,
Will do.
Will do. Now, I have to ask you the question that we ask everybody on this podcast. And I told you there's no trick question.
No
so
trick
you've heard this question. But is why? Why do you run? When you're chafing so bad that someone thinks you've cut yourself on the course, like, why do you continue to push yourself into these distances, though? And what continues to motivate you to do this?
Because it's fun, right? Like, I know there's a lot of people that are kind of like on the Goggins side of things, right? Of like, we want to do hard things and we want to push ourselves and we want to be tough. And that's great. That is not where I come from, right? When it stops being fun for me is when I'm like, all right, I want to go home, right? Like, I don't want to be here anymore because it's not fun anymore. And so, yeah, like even when you're chafing, like you're just uncomfortable, right? You're not dying. No one's going to die from a blister. I'm not going to die out here. Cheney, who, like won Volstate, one time she said that, right? She was like, I'm not going to die. Like, I'm going to go as fast as I can. And I'm either going to win or I'm going to die. But you're not going to die, and it's okay to be uncomfortable. Like, I don't mind being uncomfortable, but I like it to be fun. And if I'm hurting and stuff, there's usually somebody else out there that you can like buddy up with and just be like, hey, this sucks. Right. And they're like, this does suck. You like laugh about it and you get yourself out of the funk and you move on. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the people. I enjoy just being outside. I love being outside, and it's a really good excuse to just be outside. I'm like an accountant in my daily life. So I'm like sitting behind a computer a lot of times. And, just like what a gift it is to be able to say, I'm going to take 12 hours and go outside and just be in nature or see parts of Knoxville I haven't seen before, and like hang out with the race director that I haven't seen for 2 years. And, I like getting to know the race directors too. Like Noah Moore in Charleston. I have that stupid dog that jumped up behind me earlier in the podcast is because of a race director friend who talked us all into getting matching dogs, right? Like there's a litter of Boston Terriers and he's like trying to find people to take them. And so like a bunch of the runners are like, yeah, fine, I'll take a Boston Terrier, right? It's such a good community. And like the best people I've met in my life have all been runners and have all, right, just been part of this group. And so, yeah, it's just enjoyable. It makes my life better. It makes, I think, my friend group better and the people I surround myself with. So
I don't think you could answer it any better. Well, Mr. Williams, we will turn it over to you and we'll let the interrogation begin.
All right, we got a few questions here.
Don't forget the text message questions.
I got those as well.
Jeez.
That was the ones you sent me.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, those are the only ones I knew about.
Oh no, we got
my friends that can't figure out Instagram.
We got a whole bunch of these.
Jeez.
All right, the first one is, who is your favorite cousin?
That would be Jenny Stice in Kentucky, who is, she's a wonderful person. We're going to do Hatfield and McCoy Marathon together in June, and she is probably going to get us matching outfits. So if that paints a picture, Jenny is delightful. She's probably about 20 years my junior, and just, yeah, good girl, Kentucky, UK fan. I went to UK. She keeps sending me stickers. It's great. So definitely my favorite cousin, Jenny Stice.
Well, at least you got it right.
Yeah. That would be embarrassing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we put the wrong cousin? Oh, that could have been so bad.
That would have been good.
That would have been awful.
All right, the next question is, what was your favorite part of the course and what sets this race apart from others? Talking about Dark Anchor.
Okay. I think everybody's favorite part of the course is these 3 little sections that go through the woods with the Spanish moss and the, what are they called? The little tiny palmettos, saw palmettos everywhere. It was dirt and it was soft and it was lovely after the concrete. But I think like most Yeti races, right? The best part is probably Jaron and Jason and Samantha just being there all the time. Like I felt bad for Jaron. Like every time I'd come through, right? Like he's dancing and he's doing the things. And I'm like, dude, you need a break. You got to sit down.
He is a machine.
Yeah. But that helps so much. Like until you've done a race where you have somebody cheering for you and excited for you every 3 miles, you don't know what a boost that is. So the people at that race set it apart from everything, right? Like just having that support there, even if you don't have a crew, if you don't have anybody else with you, knowing that you're going to see Jaron every 3 miles and you're going to get a high five from him really honestly keeps you going a lot of the time because it gives you something to think about too. Of like, okay, I got to think of like another dance to do. I've seen Jaron 34 times. Every time you got to do a different dance. You come in and hang out with him. So it kind of distracts you a little bit there too. It keeps you in a good mood. But yeah, like you're not adding any mileage when you're stopping at your cruise stop, which is fantastic. And the looped course, again, like you get to know people. You get to check in and see how people are doing and make friends, which again is just a really great experience out there.
Perfect answer. All right, the next one is, what was your training plan like and how did the fundraiser affect your performance?
Oh gosh, I'm so glad you asked about that because we haven't talked about that at all. My training sucked. I don't think there was any training, honestly, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. So I pace a lot of marathons because, nobody can afford to do 50 marathons. So I pace a lot of them. I paced a lot of fall marathons. And then Thanksgiving hit and Michigan froze over and has never unfroze. So everything after Thanksgiving has been on the treadmill. And then my mother passed away in October. So there was a lot of months there where we're just spent in the hospital, right? So not only were you not running, but you're sitting in a hospital and like kind of the emotional toll happening from that. So I was very well rested when it came time for dark anchor. And I think that honestly really helped. Whenever I taper, I don't run at all the week before. So the week before any race, I don't run at all. Like I just sit on my butt and I eat, and it seems to work. This time I feel like I've done that since Thanksgiving. And so, yeah, nothing's hurting. There's no overtraining. We're totally ready to go. And I haven't over raced this year. Like a lot of times I'll do 200 or 300s a year, or I'll race 100K and do a 100-miler. None of that happened this year just because of life, right? And what we were going through. So I think I showed up probably just in better shape and not overtaxed from that. And then I had done a timed race maybe a year ago, thinking it was going to be light work, right? It's a 1-mile loop. I can do that all day long. Oh my God, it was awful. I like bailed at 12 hours. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. You people suck. And so I had in my head, like, this is going to be bad, right? Like, I'm going to get in my head on this looped race and I'm going to bail. Like, I know I will. And so we usually we have a family 5K that we do to raise money for type 1 diabetes. My son has type 1. And we couldn't do it this year again. Like we had a lot going on in life and things kind of got in the way. So I decided to couple the money, try to still fundraise for it like we do with the 5K, but do it with Dark Anchor. So I asked my amazing friends on Facebook in the running community to like donate 10 cents a mile, right? Like, let's see. And then however many miles I go, we'll add it up at the end of the day, right? So some people donated $1 a mile. Some people donated 10 cents a mile, whatever it was wonderful and impactful. And that was a huge help out there because every time I went through, I just knew like, okay, that's another $20 or something, right? For type 1 and for kids and families living with type 1 diabetes. So having that extra layer to it was a huge boom too. And I am really grateful to everybody that kind of stepped up and did that because we do ask every year, right? We have the 5K. I have the same friends that donate every year to it and they're amazing. And then they did it again this year, right? Just kind of to support me, right? There's no 5K along with it. They're not getting a t-shirt or anything like that. But just out of kind of the kindness of their hearts to do that for me was wonderful. And again, the running community is great. And the people that support you in those things are just priceless. So yeah, that was a huge part of it too.
I love it.
All right, the next one is, how do you like training in Michigan winters? Do you brave the snow or do you hit the treadmill?
I think we know this answer.
Yeah, I used to. So I've got a lot of really good gear for running in this. And up until this year, I have run in it always outside all the time. But I have asthma and I have found that anything below 20 degrees just wrecks my lungs. And it's really hard for me to kind of recover that day, just breathing wise. My rule now is if it's under 20, I hit the treadmill, and I'll be damned if it hasn't been under 20 since November. Like it has been the worst winter that we have had. Yeah, in forever. But yeah, so what we do up here, we put sheet metal screws in the bottom of our shoes to get traction on the snow and the ice. And that's the key. So if you can do that, you're golden, right? And so, yeah, hopefully, I went outside today. It was 21. It was supposed to be 24. Ended up being 18. Oh. Went outside today for a run. It was fine. As long as there's no wind and it's over 20, yeah, I'm outside. But under 20, stay in, spend some time with YouTube and the treadmill, watching good movies.
Yeah, I've been watching movies.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of movies on Netflix.
I have too.
Yeah.
Yep, not proud of it, but that's where we are.
I don't know. I kind of am proud of it because at least I'm running. I could not do anything.
Well, sometimes I'm like, oh, let's see how long I want to run today. Well, this movie is 2 hours long, so 2 hours is what I'm running. What's an hour? An hour and 40. Well, this is what I'm running today.
When Mike and I first started running, we didn't train the whole winter. And then we'd sign up for a race in like February. We were just like, you guys from Michigan, we just went in blind. And we finally realized after a few years that didn't work too well. So.
No.
Undertrained and overconfident.
That's my problem every race.
That's that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's all right for us. The next one is, what is your favorite weird song that you listen to while running?
Gosh. I really love sea shanties. Big fan of a sea shanty. But I will say Ray Alani put Baby Shark on my playlist years ago, and it's fantastic for speed work. I'm going to tell you that right now. And when you're really sad and depressed in the middle of like a long race and you're lonely and Baby Shark comes on, it just makes you laugh.
Oh, wow.
And so
I couldn't do
Baby
it.
Shark is
I couldn't
probably,
do it.
No.
oh, you could. See, you say you can't do it, but you could.
I would
So I did.
I'm gonna have to randomly
Yeah.
just
I would
mix it in there. one
probably
day.
like, upbeat with it, because when it comes on for my kids or when they were little, I mean, you jumped right in with them and started
Yeah,
singing it.
it's a good
So
time. It's a good
I-
time.
I
And it
just-
starts
I
out like,
just hope that I run a
"Dude."
race one day where it comes on and Becca's beside me and she starts singing Baby Shark.
Let's go. It's time to go now.
Watch her take off.
Telling you, put it on your speed work. It's
when
good.
it hits the was it Runaway? Yeah, that's when she
Yeah.
takes off.
Yes. Yeah, the tempo picks up. I'm telling you, it's good. But yeah, I had done a thing. It was a fundraiser for JDRF too, where people could pay $10 to put a song on my playlist. She paid $30 and put it on there 3 times. So it was just back to back Baby Shark on my playlist. So yeah,
Joke's on
It's a good
her
time.
because now it's permanent.
Yeah.
it is. It is. That's a good one. I'm telling you, it's a sleeper hit.
Well, it's definitely a hit. What has been your favorite mid-race fuel?
Pierogies.
Oh
That's
yeah.
For
Oh
sure.
yeah. Good answer.
Pierogies, they're not sticky.
Mhm.
They're salty. They don't bother my taste
Yep.
buds. Like my mouth gets so sore by like 50 miles in. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but like I don't want to eat anything. Like it's just raw. So the mashed potatoes are just perfect because they're bland and they go down super easy. You can put them in your pocket, right? So anything that goes in your pocket, yeah. Pocket pierogies. So yeah, that's the winner right
They
there.
are good.
Mm-hmm.
Pocket pierogies. I love it.
All right. Did you find this race more mentally challenging or physically challenging?
I think had the weather turned, it would have been much more mental. We got so lucky with the weather that you were just so grateful every loop that you went out that it was dry, that it was hard to get kind of in a bad headspace about it. It rained a little bit, but nowhere near like we thought it was going to be. So with the exception of getting out of the car in the morning, I think it was probably, it just wasn't too bad overall. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Right. So, and I think a lot of that had to do with like the vibe at the 3-mile check-in. Like you were never out there so long that you felt lonely and forgotten about. But you weren't at your aid station so much that you were blowing a ton of time either, right? We're like a 1-mile loop, like you're there and it's just monotonous and it's awful. I think the 3-mile loop was a really nice distance for that. But yeah, I think the pacing is key, right? You got to go slow on it. And of course, everybody like thinks that, right? But it took me a while to figure that out. It took me until this weekend to figure it out. Like how much better you feel if you actually do slow down earlier in the race and can keep it up so you're not suffering later, like physically or mentally. So yeah, I think just, after 80 marathons and ultras of figuring out like, yeah, if you're going to go more than 100, you got to slow down and you got to just kind of take your time and you'll feel a lot better at the end. And yeah, I think, yeah, the distance was good. The distance was just right for a looped course to keep it interesting and keep you seeing people without it being super monotonous.
The next question is, what was your fueling strategy and how did you or did you vomit?
Well, that's pretty direct. I love this. They must know you're going to vomit.
Yeah, there was no vomiting. So we can check that off right there. I did not eat as much as I have in the past. And I probably did not eat as much as you should on paper. So, like I said, usually I can eat everything and I don't have any issues. This time, for some reason, like food was just sitting in my stomach. Like it wasn't going anywhere. I would keep eating And I think it was because we were underestimating maybe that 3-mile loop, right? Like I was eating something every time I came through, which historically has worked really well for me, like just a little bit of something every 2.5, 3 miles. But this time it was not. Like it just kept compacting in my stomach. And so at one point I was like telling my crew, I'm like, I can't eat anymore. Like I'm done. I'm not eating anymore. And they kind of panicked and were like, well, that's not going to work. Right? Like you have to eat. Like everybody knows, right? Like you stop eating and your race is done. You're not finishing. So I'm like, well, I'm not. So we're going to switch to liquids, and I will sip on liquids the rest of the time that we're here and see how it goes. I did one loop where I just took a thing of mashed potatoes, like the mashed potato cups are my go-to. Learned that at Volstate, right? You go to Dollar General, you get mashed potato cups, you put water in them. Doesn't have to be hot, doesn't have to be anything. And you get your little spoon and you take off down the road. So I just did a loop of that, right? Like, let's just go slow. Let's get a lot of carbs in us this loop. We're not going to run. So I think I did like an hour loop then of just eating mashed potatoes. And that was probably the last solid thing I had. And that was like around mile 100. Because then I got super tired, and I think we hit like 105, and I was like, all right, let's go take a nap. Like my stomach's done. I'm tired. I'm getting wobbly because I probably haven't eaten enough. So we went back, napped, reset. Then the next day, it was mostly chocolate milk and apple juice. So I had a jug of chocolate milk, and I just walked the course and chocolate milk. When I got sick of chocolate milk, I had apple juice, and I walked around with my apple juice. The other thing that always works really well for me is rice pudding. Again, because my mouth gets so sore that it's just so bland and so like carb rich that it goes down super easy. Fun story. We had one spoon. We planned everything out, right? But the whole crew has one spoon. And so Amy gives me my rice pudding and my spoon. She goes, don't throw this out. I get 10 minutes down the trail, I throw it out.
Oh,
So the rest of the time, I'm like scooping rice pudding out with my fingers and eating it on the trail the rest of the way. So, yeah, it's glamorous, right? It's a glamorous sport. But yeah, mashed potatoes, rice pudding, and then a lot of liquids for sure, because the stomach just was not settling after a certain number of miles. So, yeah.
I love the chocolate milk.
That is definitely
Cool.
David. He loves his chocolate milk.
That's a lifesaver.
I can't do it during a race.
So good.
If you go slow enough, you can.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. All right, here are my last couple of questions. If you were to design a race and course, which distance would you choose and where would it be?
So if I was going to be an RD, it would probably be a 50K because I don't know that I have the wherewithal to be out there for 24 or 30 hours waiting for people to come in. And I want to be there, right? Like when people finish. So I'm just being honest. I think it's going to be a 50K or shorter. But one of the models I love is similar to Peyton's Wild and Wacky down in Charleston, South Carolina. It's a 5x10K. So it's a 10x5K. It's 10 hours. You run a 5K every hour. And it's wonderful because like anybody can do it. They do it as relay teams. They do it singles, go out there. And it's just such a fun kind of setup. So I love it because it's like tailgating, right? Like you've got a whole group of people that set up for the whole day and they're out there. You've got families that run it as teams. You've got coworkers running it. You get the cross-country kids running it. And then you've got people like us, right, that are just out there running it for the 50K. And so it kind of checks all the boxes for me, which is like you have a community out there. You've got a bunch of people cheering for you all the time. Your kids can do it. And it's a safe space. So like for our family 5K, my non-negotiables are there's got to be a playground. There's got to be a place kids can hang out. So if their parents are running it, they can be at the playground and there's people watching them. And it can't cross roads. Because if there's a 5-year-old that wants to run a 5K, I want them to be safe and I want their parents to know they're safe, that they're going to run a closed course. Nobody's going to hit them. Nobody's going to steal your kid. And that would kind of be the same thing with a 5x10K that I would love to do, right? Is have it in some place where like kids could play all day. They could have fun. And a closed course somewhere in like a beautiful park where people just hang out and like be with their friends, have a beer, barbecue, do whatever you want to do, just make a day of it, and maybe hit, like a 50K, like people that don't think they could do a 50K, right? My kid went and did it with me one year. He was 13. I think his longest run had been like 6 miles in his life. And to see him sit there and just keep getting up lap after lap when he didn't think he could do it was amazing, right? Like, he after like the third lap, he's like, I don't think I can do another one. I said, well, we got 7 more. Just line up, right? Just line up and see what happens. And so he did. He just kept lining up, and he got his 50K in. So I think giving people a chance to do something they don't think they can do is a fun thing too, right? And that kind of race format is just very beginner friendly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
I like that.
I haven't heard of that one. That's
yeah,
good.
it's a good one. Mm-hmm.
All right. My last question is, since you do put on the Run for Top 1 and you're technically a race director, what is one thing that you wish people that runners knew?
I think, at least in our case, it's the lack of money you make from it. So I think people see a lot of 5Ks or they see races and they think you must be making like a lot of money, right? Like I've paid $30 to do this 5K. I'm getting a t-shirt that's maybe worth 5 or 10. So like you have all this extra money. That is not true, right? Like that extra money just gets sucked away everywhere. Like the timing is so expensive. Oh my God. And until you get 200 to 300 people doing your race, you're not making anything, right? Like 100 racers or more, you're losing money. So I think that is what people kind of fail to realize on a lot of things. And it's always interesting to me, like there's people that really hate on for-profit race companies, right? Like I don't, like good for you. If I could make money just putting on races all over the company or all over the country, I would do it, right? Like I don't hate on you at all. But it is kind of frustrating. Like there's a group that puts on like a donut run and they literally just put donut holes like at mile 5 or whatever. And they get hundreds of people showing up for this. And I'm like, I could put out donut holes. Can I get 500 people, please, showing up for my fundraiser where we're making zero profit at all? 100% of anything we make is going to type 1 research and helping, kids and families and stuff. So like, that kind of stuff just flabbergasts me a little bit. People love a gimmick. I love a gimmick. But yeah, like you don't make the money people think that you're making on them.
Well, I do think we should try to boost the numbers of this 5K. What 5K is this?
So it's called Run for Type 1.
When
I said, we took a hiatus. It is usually in August, end of August, early September. We took a hiatus this year because life. But yeah, we're hoping to get it back open again this year. The ultra sign up is up. That's how we collected donations for JDRF this time through. It was just to open up the run sign up portal because it has a donation aspect of it, right? Where people can go there and donate. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. And again, like I think when we're runners and we put on races, we're like, we are doing all the things right. Like people are going to love this race. There's going to be people lining up to do it. And then you can't get people there. It's heartbreaking because like, we've thought of all the things, we're celebrating the walkers. We're celebrating the runners. We've got the perfect course. We've got, all this, we've got the best t-shirt. And you just can't quite get the numbers there to make it doable. It's tough.
Well, send us the link to the race so that we can put it in the podcast notes and on social media. And then we're going to mail you some friction prescriptions to see if we can help you with your chafing.
Doing God's
but, I do think it's important for people to know, like, to your point, 5Ks that people are trying to do, fundraisers and nonprofits, like those are the ones that people really need support for. Like you're trying to do it for a reason. And, I think it's important that we share that and that we put that on here when we do that. So, and the name of it again is what?
Run for Type 1.
Run for Type 1.
And if you're looking at it, it's on Run Sign Up. It's in Dutton, Michigan. So, but we do a virtual too. So we have friends, all over the country. We'll mail you your bib and your t-shirt. And so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll do handmade medals.
I love it. Well, definitely send us the link so that we can put it in there. I will not have this podcast uploaded till next Text Tuesday. Let's be real. Probably next Thursday. Just send me the link. Is the race already live?
Yeah, it is.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yes, definitely
Yep.
send us the link. Matt,
I appreciate
any last questions?
That's all I got.
Yeah, that was a lot of
That was a lot of
questions.
questions.
I think that's probably a record.
That's probably a record.
That's probably a
I will say.
record.
That's
You
probably a
broke
record.
another
Nice.
record today.
Woohoo! I'll take whatever I can get. So, I appreciate it, guys.
Well, Becca, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. It's with short notice. You're also just finished a race this weekend, so I know you're tired. So thank you for doing this. And I think we're probably
that was
close to
enjoyable.
2 hours at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
We are. I'm sure you're going to cut some things out. So.
I don't know. It's all been really
No,
good.
it's all good.
Probably not. So last thing we always ask is, do you have any questions for us?
Favorite beers or drinks of choice?
I'm an energy drink guy. Give me tons of energy drinks.
Yeah.
Really?
This dude, he cannot drink craft beer. He's like a Miller Lite guy when he does drink.
Nice.
Mick Ultra.
Give me some Jolt Cola. You know, the old 80s, and
that's aggressive.
They got the energy drink now by Redcon 1. And I could drink them suckers. I could drink 5 a day. I don't, but I could. But I could. I don't, but I could.
Oh, please don't.
I love them.
I worry for you.
Love them. Yeah. Give me the energy drinks. Lots of them.
Good Lord. Okay.
IPAs.
IPAs. All right. Indian pale ales. Got it. Okay. Good to know.
And old fashions.
For
a while. This is actually the first old fashioned I've had on this podcast in a long time, but probably for the first, I don't know, probably for like the whole year of like 2025 almost. We had an old fashioned probably for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Every podcast we would drink a double old fashioned. And
I'll say that's a big glass for people that are just listening. That is a big glass.
It is also a Yeti glass. I did that just for you.
Nice.
But yeah, it was funny because we started doing that, and then all of a sudden we started having to train for these bigger races, and then that's when we cut our alcohol. So like, I probably won't have many more because I'm going to race a 50 miler in the middle of March. So this probably another drink or two. So I was like, I'm having an old fashioned tonight. It was perfect.
Well done.
But the old fashioned is by far my favorite drink, period.
Okay. Well
and
done.
you?
All right.
What's yours?
Tough one. I've been on Prosecco a lot lately. Like, that's kind of been my jam. But otherwise, vodka martini.
Oh, nice.
Those get you in trouble real fast.
Do. So do the old fashions.
That is true. Especially in a glass, like in an ale glass, right? In a beer glass.
If you mix it right, people can't tell it's not beer.
Now I know why the recording cut out there for a moment.
He was pulling on cords.
We did have technical difficulties during this podcast. Well, Becca, thank you so much. We will definitely have to have a part 2 at some point. Because we skipped so much of your stories here, and you're a very good storyteller if anybody's ever told you that.
That's true.
So
she is.
You did great, and we enjoyed having you on here. So we would love to have you back on. Maybe we can do this again towards the end of the year. Especially if you're going to do it. You got any other races lined up?
That's the problem, right? So I'm trying to get to 100 marathons in October. I've got them kind of lined up. So, being the people that we are, I'm like, well, if I'm going to do 11 marathons, that's really good training for an ultra. Mm-hmm. So now I got to find an ultra to capitalize on the marathon training. So I am on the hunt for probably another ultra this year, maybe Hennepin. I don't know. We'll see how the schedules line up and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, you hate to waste all those marathons without doing a race.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hennepin's a good one too.
It is. Yeah. I did it once before. It was fun.
I see. And you did it under 24 hours.
Yeah. The walnuts almost killed me on that course.
I heard Stamen talk about those walnuts.
Oh, yeah. God, he's fast too. Yeah. Those walnuts are the devil.
Well, Becca, we won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for doing this. We'll definitely get you back on. And congratulations on your big win this weekend. I'm glad that Jason Green was able to manipulate you enough to get you to go run 2 more laps.
Can't believe a word that man says.
And most importantly, Congratulations, though. It's awesome to have the course record, to have a good race, especially when you don't know how it's going to turn out. So great job.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. It's been a joy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, Becca.
Thank you.
Thanks.